You are now listening to the Garage Poppin' Family Chronicles podcast. Have a seat at the table and let's have a family discussion.
Hey guys, welcome to Garage Poppin' Family Chronicles. I'm your host, Tasia.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Ashley.
And today's topic is coochie. Let's talk about it.
A wet one, not the dry one.
Okay. Let me preface this off by saying, okay, that we've already been talking and we've all had about 2.5 glasses of wine. So whatever happens on this podcast is going to stay on this fucking podcast. Okay?
In the Garage Poppin' Family.
Okay? In the family, it shall stay.
We want to apologize to any of our senior members that may come across this on Facebook. We apologize.
Listen, elder members, go ahead and click off now, okay? All right. If you have any position in the church, like a deacon or elder, a fan, pastor, elder, the mother nurse, go head on and skip this podcast, okay?
That is. Skip this podcast.
We need your views, so just click it on and then click on.
Don't click
on it, walk away.
Put it on mute.
All right, so we're talking about body counts and the vagine today, okay?
The what?
Vagine. The vagine. No?
Okay. Like
vagina. The cooch. All right?
Like
the hot pocket.
The coin.
Taco.
The coin.
Your pearls.
Your coin.
The pearls. What your taco looking like?
Loose lips, like chips. Right, does body count matter? I'm not going to say anything. Look, I've only had one body, so I'm going to let y'all talk. What's going on?
Wow.
I'm saying no.
Listen, I would just like to say that that's not true. You've had two bodies.
What's the second
one body and a rose.
That's true. The rose does count as a body, so.
Oh, honey.
Okay. Big two. Okay. Anybody who talk about what's your body count? I'm gonna holler out 432,562. What you gonna do? You gonna stop talking to me?
Right.
No. No. So why you
husbands? You know.
No. Do you got some money? No. So why you want to know?
Right. Like, does it even matter? Like, kids, can you even tell? Shut the hell up, because you be like, shut up.
I feel like that's like judging somebody based off of their past, of what they've been through. You can't judge somebody off of what they've been through. Either you're gonna accept it or you. Do you even really want to know the answer?
And
I feel like past. Let's focus on now.
I feel like men are so worried about women's body counts, but men's body count,
they don't even count.
Does it? Right. Like, it's not even a factor, but you worried about what I'm doing. But what has that little thing been doing?
I feel like the men matters when, they mess up your pH.
For real, you're right, because you don't be worried, but once you be like, now, what you been doing before you got over here?
Yeah. I'm like, what you been doing before I got over here?
I feel like vaginal health is something that a lot of women don't like to talk about because they're embarrassed, but your pH being thrown off doesn't just necessarily have to be from somebody having sex.
Musty balls. That's one thing. But they get down there and your coochie musty. First of all, they're trifling, so they're still gonna do whatever it is that needs to be done. But they're gonna talk about you after. Okay? That's the difference. A woman be like, I'm not. But them, they don't care about vaginal health. They gonna do what needs to be done. Then when they leave, they gonna be like, I had so much fun. They gonna be like, ooh, let me tell you about the bag of onions I was just with.
Wow.
Not the bag of onions.
Wow.
Men are not as far as them wanting to know your body count and know what you've been doing. They do not take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like a woman would take care of themselves. Like just off musty balls. Like I would never sit around, go to work. I don't care how long I'm there. And have a, you know how people be like, you got that little twang because you've been at work all day. Take a shower.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't use condoms, but looking up online, you look, because I thought, I got PCOS, so I was like, shit, I can get pregnant. Fuck that shit. But you don't understand that a male semen and then a female's vagina, they have different acidities. So the semen is more acidic than what women have. So when they mix, sometimes it will throw off your pH and cause things like bacterial vaginosis and things like that. So, and I know a lot of women have gone through bacterial vaginosis because I have as well. And you get the antibiotics and they take care of it, but it's not because you're nasty. It's because of things like when he give you, he ain't brush your teeth beforehand. He eats some hot Cheetos. He not washing. He rolling up the weed and then coming and playing with you.
I like to say, if when you done, you don't go pee, the pH balance will flee.
It will. And it's like you have to know yourself. And then eating clean, when you smoke a lot and you drink a lot, it affects how the semen comes out and it affects your pH. It will affect your pH. It really will. Drinking does.
That's why the rose is gold at this point, okay?
Every rose has its thorn.
And it will poke you in the right way.
Again.
But you still have to make sure you clean your toys correctly too, because if you don't, the
exactly
on that as well.
That is very true,
and that can cause infection as well. So it's not about you sleeping around with people when you have any type of bacterial or oh my god, vaginal infections. It could be because you're not keeping things clean. So you have to clean those as much as you clean yourself.
And here's the problem. I feel like a lot of people know that they have a bacterial infection or something else, and they don't relay that to their partner at the time. You know what I mean? So they're like, I'm just going to try to take a shower real quick. Listen, a shower is not going to wash that funk away. Okay? You need to be honest with whoever you're with and be like, listen, right now, not a good time for her. The vaginal health pandemic, I will say, that's going on right now. There's so many things that you can do. And I think that a lot of people aren't doing them. You know what I mean? They're like, they're too embarrassed, or you know what I mean? Like, because they're like, I don't want nobody. Listen, okay? Take care of her and she will take care of you.
If your get up air stinks, I don't know. Because you can smell yourself. Everybody else can. It's called get up air.
Not get up air.
Okay.
Would you be offended if somebody told you that you weren't smelling too fresh?
But as a woman, you smell yourself before anyone does. So she knows she had a stench.
But we're really quick to say that, you need to tell her. But would you, as a woman, be offended if somebody said, hey, you smell a little fishy today? How would you feel?
Well, me personally, I can't speak for myself, because if I smell funny, if somebody be like, ooh, I will want to know. But I do understand what you're saying as far as
here's the problem.
letting someone know and her being offended. But would you rather be offended or would you rather have people talk about you saying that you stink? She'd be
It was.
offended and she'd be like, "Oh, all y'all dead wrong," but she go home and wash her ass.
I'm gonna tell
She
you this.
come back
It
to work tomorrow
wasn't.
smelling like flowers.
I feel like I was a homeless person in my past life, so I'm very obsessed with trying to smell better.
What?
A second, please.
I
What?
I want to walk past somebody and they be like, "Oh my god, she smells so good!" Like that's a obsession that I have. I don't know why.
Oh my God, Alyssa, me too. Me too.
That's what I mean. But
I feel
I
like
feel
as
like
women, we should all want to smell good.
Yeah.
But
I put on 17 different sprays before I go to work. Maybe it's because I smoke a blunt before I go. Maybe not. But we all love perfume.
that goes with everything about your vaginal health, about your health as a woman, feeling good about yourself.
Oh my God, yes. I'd love for somebody to be like, "Oh, that smells so good. What do you have on?"
Like as far as men and their health, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that men can get and they won't even know. You know what I'm saying? They got an itch or have some type of discharge that's a different color.
They won't go to the doctor.
For them to, oh my God, that was literally what I was getting at. You know what I'm saying? They don't go to the doctor.
And you know
I don't know
what's
if it's just
crazy?
my generation type of thing, but a lot of men that I know don't go to the fucking doctor, especially not for like a checkup.
And let me tell you this. If you get a yeast infection after you have sex with someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got it from somebody else and brought it to you. Because men don't have the same symptoms of a yeast infection that women have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he had sex with somebody who had a yeast infection and then he comes to you and y'all have sex, you're going to get a yeast infection and you're like, "Damn, I got a yeast infection." He doesn't have the same symptoms. So he doesn't know that he got that from somebody else and then brought it to you. And if he doesn't get treated, he can keep giving that back to you, which will mess up your vaginal health.
Learn something new today.
Definitely.
I learned that from a book I read.
Not a book.
My mom
I
didn't give
never
me
had the experience. I read a book on it.
a woman. My parents, when they had the sex talk with me, you know what they did? They threw us a kid book about your body, and they threw us a chapter book with pictures of in there, and they walked out. And me and my sister were sitting there like, "What the fuck did they just give?" I learned everything from school that I had to learn about puberty in my body because my parents didn't talk to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I had to learn along the way, and now as a 29-year-old woman, I understand my body more, and I want to help my daughter to understand her body so that she doesn't have to figure it out on her own. No disrespect to the parents, they probably just didn't know what to do with it.
Because I used to use, what is that? Like that, the vaginal health one, but it's
Vagisil.
Summer's Eve.
Vagisil. So listen, Vagisil makes me itch.
Really?
I can't use that. Now, mind you, it smells great. Like I can use it everywhere else and it smells great. But down there,
Really?
it's not okay for me. So I had to stop using that. And I was like,
That's what Dial does. Dial it doesn't mix well with me down there.
I
Either.
agree. No, not Dial though. What's the other one? Dove. Dove makes me itch down there.
Dove makes me itch too.
Yeah, I can't do that. I
try to support a black business, and they had a cookie one, and it was like they had an exfoliating scrub and a wash. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try this. I haven't used Honey Pot. I opened theirs, and that made me burn. I'm like, oh hell no. I was like, maybe it's just me. I tried it again, and I said, no, this ain't it. Back to Honey Pot.
When I was younger, mom worked in labor and delivery when I was younger, so I've always been taught like it's a vagina. Whatever else you call it, it's not that. It's a vagina.
It's not.
Wash it, clean it, use protection. If you don't, this is what's going to happen. If it's itching, these could be what it is. Your soap could be what it is. Like mom was always very very in depth as far as vaginal health, which is why I take it so seriously.
Yeah.
I don't play that.
I love that. What you know what I mean? Like what I was trying to do, like got through. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like that makes me feel good as a parent, as a mother. Like that makes me feel really, really, really good.
Like, yeah,
I
I don't
literally
play
just taught Eris recently how to put on a pad, and even I took a panty liner and had one of her underwear that was out, that was clean, and I showed her how to do it, because a lot of these young girls that are like 10 and 11 and 9 are starting their cycles, and it's like, I don't want her to start her cycle and not know what to
what to
do
do.
when
Exactly.
she's by herself. And she told me, yeah, and if you, I was like, so if you don't have a pad, she was like, you put tissue, I know you wad it all up. And I'm like, how the hell do you
You
know that?
go, girl.
But I'm so proud
And
of her
when
for
you
even
don't have any whipped
Okay.
because I didn't know these things. I just recently, last year, tried tampons because my mama didn't use tampons. Don't know how to tell me how to use a tampon.
Girl,
I just learned on my own.
and that is sad. That is super sad. I taught Tasia how to use tampons because who wants to have a big bulky pad on? Like they were wearing skinny jeans the whole time. You know what I mean? It wasn't about like the big jeans. Like, no, I was
Mom,
like,
I don't know
listen,
if you remember, but the first time ever trying to put a tampon on, you told
yeah,
me over the phone. And the second time you were outside of the door.
yeah,
Like, and then it was a done deal.
yeah. Because I
It
was
was
like,
something else. Because I couldn't wait. I could not wait to not wear a pad. When I was young,
I'm
I
like,
don't know why pads made me so insecure, but I
I'm
couldn't
like,
wait to
right
wear
leg on frontal, left foot on.
Mine.
the way social media is. And men are, as far as, you know what I'm saying, a little smell, you smell this, or I went over there and she, you know what I'm saying, it looked like this, like how it looks, even how, you know what I'm saying. Men don't know. They don't take baths or go to the doctor. And we sitting
Have,
right here
they
listening
don't have
to
a
their
clue.
opinions. You know, honestly though, but for real
Right.
though,
So the next
especially
time somebody be like, what does that smell? When was the last time you took a bath, sir? When was the last time you soaked your balls underwater
how long you had them
and
drawers on, sir?
sat there and let the water marinate between the cracks and crevices?
How
Never.
many times you done wore them jeans? Let's talk about it.
Look proud. I'm already at 29 years old, almost 30 next month. Shameless
Yeah.
plug. That it's okay to you're never too old to learn things about yourself and about your body.
Excited, like I'm proud of myself when I learned my body. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
Yeah.
as
Definitely.
far as like, birth control and stuff like that, having to switching my birth control and really having to relearn my body. You know what I'm saying? It really, I'm very what's the word, observant of what's going on, what's changing, what's different. It's like I say, I don't play.
I feel
I
like the
just
only thing that changes with Tasia and her birth control is her mood. Okay. She cries and
I need you not to get off, Tasia.
I
Okay, because you know what? That's just, I feel like that's,
she knows.
a
That's the
tear.
cancer.
I'm gonna have to shed a tear. Birth control, no birth control. I'm gonna need to cry.
Yeah.
So this is how I feel about birth control.
It's
And I'm
fine.
gonna say this because Ashley's the first one who started when I first had relations. I told my grandma, Sandy Joe, and I told Ashley and them, and I was so scared to tell my mama. Yes, I was. And they had to call my mama and tell her that I was having relations.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking around the corner. My mom's like, "Why is everybody calling me, telling me that you this, that, and that, and third?" And Ashley was the first person to give me birth control, which was Yaz, which is on TV for if you had
Yeah,
mesothelioma.
girl, get you some.
I was on it too, so we both gonna die.
But
And
I feel
what happened with the last one? You had a baby.
like,
Shout out
but
to
I,
Ethan.
but I
Listen, that was a whole IUD. Go ahead though.
But I feel like my PCOS was induced because there is a portion of PCOS that's induced by birth control. And my cycles were
Oh.
regular before I had taken the birth control. After I stopped them, my cycles have never been the same since I was like 15. And I'm not against them, but that's why I wanted to say that in the beginning when I said don't use condoms. That was because I didn't have cycles. And I was like, I can't get pregnant. Like, this is what it is.
I have
But
a question.
yeah,
Did you
and
know, like, when did you find out that you had PCOS?
so I found out in 2012. I was working at Comcast. I remember they called me and told me, and I sat there and cried because they told me that there would be slight reason why I would never have kids. I'm gonna be infertile. It'll be harder for me to have kids. But I didn't take my PCOS seriously until I think about last year. I started joining some groups and started learning more about it and what causes it. I have insulin resistant PCOS. My OBGYN told me. So I'm borderline diabetic. So I need to not eat a lot of sugars, eat a lot of carbs. So when you learn what type you have, because there are 4 types for the women that do have PCOS, it does cause you to have a lot of hair like women. So the women that have I have a mild case. Women who have severe cases have like the hair on their chest, the beards, and you're like, oh my God, she hairy, she got a mustache, this and that. Most of the time they have PCOS.
So
what also makes me very cautious of my body to make sure that I know what's going on, and what makes me really cautious during certain situations, y'all, endometriosis. Okay, because mom, I remember when I was younger, mom wasn't feeling good at all. She had been like, she wasn't feeling well or whatever. She ended up having to go to the hospital, and they were like, I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm telling all your business, but it scarred me.
No, it's fine.
They were like, she had a lot of blood in her belly. And she was like, yeah, the doctor told me that if I would have waited anymore, you would have came home and I would have been dead.
Literally, my dad had to come and pick me up from my house. He carried me to the car, carried me to the med, and they were like, we got to do surgery right away. And they were like, we're going to try to save your ovaries. We're going to try to save your fallopian tubes. I was in surgery for what, 7 hours while they were trying to get everything. Like she was like, you had like 600 cc's of blood inside of your belly.
Wow.
She was like, if you wouldn't have come and try to stay at home and like take some sleeping pills, you know what I mean? Try to get through it. You probably would have been septic and died. Like, literally, if you have a problem, go to the doctor. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine I'm 30 something and leave 2 children?
No. That's why to this day, I'm very, very cautious. That's why when I be calling you freaking out, like, hey, it's a lot going on. This is happening and this is happening. You think I'm gonna be okay? Do I just talk to you? Like, that's why I'm very cautious. Like, that's why I be freaking out, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? I want, you know how I be talking about I don't want kids, and I don't. But when I do, I want to be okay.
Able to have them.
Yeah, I want to be okay, and I want to know what's going on now. So I don't try to be like, yeah, I'm gonna have a baby, and then all this stuff comes up. Like, I'm very cautious about vaginal health. I'm very in tune with my gynecologist. She needs to tell me what's going on. I need results, like, because, like, you know, you too, Alyssa, though, like, because I know as far as your PCOS,
they're polycystic ovarian.
But yeah, like, I'm very, and even when I went to the doctor, like, you know what I'm saying, she said that she saw some cysts, and I was just like, oh shit. I need at least another 3 to 5 years to make some decisions, ma'am. I don't need to hear nothing.
So for endometriosis, I had endometrial tissue outside of my uterus. So I had it attached to my liver. I had it attached to my bladder. I had it attached to the outside of my uterus. So every time I had a period, that endometrial tissue would shed, and then it would just slough off and bleed, but it had nowhere to come out. So it was just inside of my stomach. So my stomach would swell, and I would have the worst periods. Like, my period would last for 4 days, and it was like super mild. I would barely bleed. And I'm like, why do I feel like this? Because all of that sloughing off would be on the inside of my stomach, and it had nowhere to go.
She was literally like dying for months.
Yeah, like everyone was dying.
She didn't know.
And they were like, we got to get her into surgery now. We're going to try to save your fallopian tubes, but we might not be able to. Like, when they got in there, it was like 7 hours, and they were like, we couldn't listen. Everything was stuck to everything. We had to take everything. You know what I mean? So, of course I cried, because I was like, okay, so that means I'm never going to have another baby, even though who wanted one? But the fact that it was taken away from me.
Yeah, without your choice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. The fact that it was taken away from me hurt me to my core. And I'm like, listen, I told y'all what it was. They told y'all what it was. Now it's taken away from me and I can never have another baby.
I'll be telling you about medicine and Black women, discussion for a whole nother day. You know how they do Black women, especially as far as vaginal issues and childbirth. Don't get me started.
I think that's why I took mine so seriously, because I had a period where I was passing clots, and I've never passed clots before. And I even had to call my mom in the bathroom, and I was like, "Can you look at this?" I'm like, "I know it's nasty, but I was like, have you ever seen this before?" Like, I could literally feel when it was coming out. And I made an appointment, and it wasn't for 2 months. And when I called her, she was like, "Your hematocrit is so low that had you not come in, you would have had a blood transfusion." She was like, "Why didn't you call in for a problem visit and not?" Yeah, she was like, "Why didn't you call in for a problem visit instead of an annual?" And I was like, "I don't know. Hell, I thought this was normal."
Like, that was the reason why. Like, I had so much scar tissue. My uterus couldn't even expand because I had so much scar tissue and like old blood that had turned into scar tissue in my stomach that he didn't have any room to expand. So like, that's why he came early. And when they told me that, I was like, well, let's get this taken care of. Listen, it took too long, and I was like, take all that out. And now I have hot flashes. Okay, I will be hot. You will be talking to me, and I'll be like, yes, I know it's 12 degrees outside. Okay, but I'm sweating.
Especially like I was saying with Black women in medicine, like. Even if you decide like this is the man I want to have a baby with, you need to decide this is the doctor that I want to deliver my baby. You know what I'm saying? This is the person who I want to go to doctor's appointments with. Like, yes, like I don't play my life in my health.
Literally feel like if I would have been a white woman, they would have approved that Lupron injection before my period started.
Yeah, you would have never. Yeah, I agree.
I read something, and I don't know how true it is, that said that doctors learn in school that African American people's bodies react differently than other people's bodies, so they can take more pain. So they're taught not to give too many pain meds, and they're taught not to give too much stuff because they think it's exaggerated and that their bodies can take it better. So they, when you say you're in pain, they give you Tylenol. They don't give you the stuff that you need. And then unless you have somebody that's in the medical field that's in your family that's really pushing for you.
You know, like the slaves, when they said that Black people couldn't feel pain, so they used to torture them. That's basically how doctors feel. That's what doctors study in medical
school. They wouldn't go hard for you. And it's like they learned that in medical school. That's what something that I read. I'm not sure the validity on it.
But I mean, like, I've heard that before as far as the slaves. So
yeah, I'm literally glad that we have medical people in our family. You know what I mean? Like, even when my mother was sick, you know what I mean? Like, I literally had to come to my dad and be like, listen, I told you before, if she goes on a vent, it's going to be hard to get her off because she's got COPD. She doesn't eat right. She's got diabetes, all this stuff. And he was like, well, no, they said she moved. And I was like, right, but was it a purposeful movement?
It's about making sure you're going to the doctor, checking yourself. If you feel uncomfortable with yourself, make sure that you go to the doctor and check, because there's never too many questions that you can ask about your own health.
Definitely.
That was the whole piece of this. We should have said it in the beginning.
Go to the doctor. If you see something, say something.
But this was a very good podcast.
It was. I love it.
I love this for us.
I love this for us, and I love you.
I love
you. And I love this for y'all's coochie. Seriously.
Wait.
I mean, our coochies too, but I mean, like, you know, everyone's
coochies unite.
Yeah.
Cooch bump.
Everybody put your fist up.
Everybody did Kegels.
You don't need no Kegels. You don't need no Kegels.
Yeah, you don't do them. You don't do them. You don't do them.
Your is tight as this bun on my head.
It's saran wrap, baby. Ain't nothing getting through that barrier. Do you hear me?
Honey, you are a whole virgin.
Wow.
Tight as border patrol. You're not getting through there.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It's not. It's not. The point of this was that you guys have inspired me to ask questions and to be vocal and to not be embarrassed and to go to the doctor when I feel anything.
Never heard. There's nothing they haven't heard before. I promise you.
For sure. Definitely, I completely agree. I ain't ashamed to name, because I know I keep things together. Okay. That
And even if you keep things together, there's things that can go wrong. So just
could
make
happen that you don't even know.
Definitely.
yeah. Well, this has been
That's
a great discussion, guys.
Yes.
I can't wait till the next podcast.
I can't either. I feel like this was really good. I feel like I love every time we have one. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
I love it too. All right, so we will see y'all on the next podcast where we will come together as a family and have a discussion at the table with a brand new topic. We'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.
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 Bye.